Welcome to Infinite Love, and in the spirit of October, I'm going to take you back to my childhood and what Halloween meant to all of us growing up. I've shared that in my younger years, life was filled with adventures, excitement, fairy tales, the dreamer in me. And every Halloween, we would get dressed up, and my mom would make our costumes for us. And that was exciting because then we would travel over to my grandma's house where all of the cousins would be. And it would become an adventure, embarking in new neighborhoods, trick-or-treating. There was always something so magical about this season. And maybe it was because it was fall. The colors were changing, leaves falling all around you, the crisp, cool air, and on those random days you would get the nice warm weather to come with it. The breeze, the campfire smell. It was just so magical. Everything felt like it just came alive all around me. That was the inner child in me. That's what I saw and felt every single day. And I loved that feeling. And I loved Halloween. The best part about it was creating your costumes. What was I going to be for Halloween this year? Oh, the excitement. You never knew what you wanted to do. And then you hoped your mom could make the costume for you. And she was very creative at that. I remember as kids at our school, we would get to walk around in a parade dressed up. It was so exciting. All eyes on us and our costume. We then would get home and the anticipation would kill us as we drove all the way to our grandparents' house, which now thinking about it wasn't that far, but as kids it felt like forever. And you can only go trick-or-treating for so long. So we would gather up, get in the van, and head over to my grandparents' house where we would see all of our cousins and we would dote on all of our costumes. We would grab our bags and get ready to go trick-or-treating. And it was an army of us. You remember I was saying that my mom came from a big Irish Catholic family. So you had at least 11 siblings with all their kids, which was us, all coming together for Halloween to go trick-or-treating in the neighborhood. And I remember this was its own unique adventure because when you leave your own neighborhood, it feels different. It feels like you're traveling outside of the world of what you only know, your own little magical bubble. And at that time, everybody would decorate their homes. It's not like how it is now where you might have a couple blocks that are decorated, or you might have neighborhoods that are fully decorated, but then you see that a lot of people don't decorate. And I get it, because you're busy and you're probably taking your own kids out trick-or-treating. And I'm included on that because once I moved out of my home and into my own place, decorating for Halloween wasn't really that big of a deal for me. But I'll get to the reason why. So we get to our grandparents and we're off. We're all embarking on this adventurous, creepy journey. It was a very ominous setting. And I say that because I remember the homes being very old. Outdated would be the term now, I guess. But they had this different energy, presence to them. Not like the homes I grew up around. And we would walk these blocks and go under these viaducts, which had a lot of artsy stuff on them, at least to my childhood memory. Now, knowing what it was graffiti, but it made it more spooky, more dark, eerie, ominous, which then added to the whole Halloween adventure. Spooky. And I felt safe though because, well, I was with my family. I was with my cousins, my siblings, and there were so many of us, and there were so many kids trick-or-treating, and it just was amazing. It was magical. I loved every part of it. Every year I was so excited to go over there. Except my grandma always had candy corn. Ugh. Or those black and orange, I don't even know what they're called, but they're the nastiest candy I can remember. And when I see them now to this day, I kind of cringe. I'm like, oh, no thank you. But anyways, we would get back to my grandparents' house. We would all unload our bags, spread our candy out, make sure that everything was safe to eat, even though secretly we had already snuck a couple pieces in while we were walking. I mean, come on, we're kids. We were hungry, starving. And then we would go back home. And if we still had time, we would get to trick-or-treat around the neighborhood. And as we got older, of course, we would just venture off on our own anyways. But I always remembered it being special, being magical, being everything. I even remember the costumes. I was a pumpkin, a ladybug, a bumblebee. I was Snow White. I was Beetlejuice. I was a ghost. And they were all made by my mom, which was the coolest thing ever to remember, to cherish, to then pass down to others. You see, my younger years were filled with creativity, joy, excitement, adventure, imagination, believing beyond what can be seen, heard, felt. And then everything changed. This would be around the same time that I disconnected from myself, that I no longer felt the love and the joy within, where I felt like that mirror was simply a reflection of a scary, scary person. So disconnected with the real world, as well as my imaginative world. My wonder years, the years that gave me hope and love and joy and excitement, were no longer there. And Halloween became something that I feared, and not because it's scary, but because I was scared of my own self. I was scared of my own reflection. I also couldn't align or connect with wearing a mask or a costume when I subconsciously knew I was wearing many masks, but had no idea how to express that, how to feel that, how to connect or align to that. I simply was just living in a world where there wasn't as much joy, adventure, imagination, creativity. All that was starting to dissipate as time went on, the more I disconnected with myself. And yes, I would still play along, but the more I did that, the more I forced myself to do that, the worse it got, the worse I felt inside, the more I cringed, knowing that I was doing something that I really wasn't connecting with. Because you see, as a child, you're excited. You can't wait for this adventure. You can't wait to put on that costume, to feel so alive and magical. And my heart's smiling right now because my inner child remembers those feelings. And yeah, it's different now because I'm reconnected with who I am. But I hold a special place for myself during that time because it only got worse as I got older, especially in my teenage and college years when, of course, we would dress up, go to bars. I didn't like that. The only time I would participate would be when we were doing small gatherings around people I trusted, that I knew. Because you see, I was setting myself up to be in bars where everyone's intoxicated, and it gives them the right to make fun of me, to say such hurtful comments. And I would hear them, I would feel them, and I would want to run from them, but I couldn't. But instead, I would try to drink that away, drink the pain away. I wish then I could have at least expressed myself better, but I didn't want people to feel sorry for me. I didn't like that feeling. And the creativity, all of that was gone. And I remember feeling so anxious when people would ask, what are you going to wear? What are you going to be? I simply would just shut down inside. I remember even crying at times, even in my 20s. It just caused such anxiety within me because I didn't want to have to put on another costume when I already was wearing my own mask from the world, allowing them to see who I really am. It's amazing what we learn about ourselves going through a self-healing journey. And as I was taking my break earlier, I was scrolling on TikTok and came across a Billie Eilish video. And her song, What Was I Made For, came on. And the irony or synchronicity of universe just aligning me to talking about where I lost the joy in life as I was sharing with all of you. I once had that enjoyment in life and then simply lost it all. I love the way universe works in self-reflection, giving me this song to listen to, connecting me to my childhood, abandonment. And then the next song, Dandelions, came on, and I simply smiled because it's bringing me all back to right here, right now, where I'm in such an amazing place within myself, within my life, within my journey, within my soul's purpose. And I'm loving it. I'm appreciating it. And there's no better place than self-reflection. No matter how hard the times are or how great the times are, it's allowing yourself to be still and self-reflect. This way you can release what's no longer needed, let go of the pain and the darkness, and step forward into the new with no expectation, just love and light. just pure enjoyment. It's all around us. The magic is right here. And I'm loving this fall already. And I look forward to Halloween this year because it's going to bring the magic back. I already feel it. So what was your favorite Halloween costume? Or better yet, what was your favorite Halloween memory as a child? I hope you're able to enjoy this fall season. Get outside, self-reflect. Until we chat again, have a safe and magical Halloween.